everyone's JackelWolf back in the garden again for the weekend of May 12th. This week we got a couple of things to do. First off, we are going to look after the carrot bed. If you watched 2 episodes ago, I did a really good weeding job in there. So now I've just got to go in, tidy it up a little bit, get it ready for the carrot seeds. I am going to give it a big watering before I plant the seeds, just so they got a nice base underneath. I'll explain a little bit more when we get to that area. I'm then going to plant the carrot seeds in there and then cover them over with a little bit of compost. Next up will be the potato bed. Similar to the carrots last season, I covered this over with paper and straw to help keep the weeds down. So I got to do a quick little weeding in there, give it another good watering before I plant the potatoes. I'm going to plant the potatoes, cover them over with compost, and then cover them over with some straw, and then I'm going to do a big watering on top of that. Last but not least, we plant the second row of peas over by the trellis, and that will be it for this one, guys. But before that, let's get around to the garden poke. Strawberries are looking a lot better. Raspberries are looking pretty good. So looking forward to seeing how these ones grow. I do have to throw some fertilizer in here, some of the compost, and maybe some blood and bone meal, just to add a little bit of extra oomph. Onions over here. Now, last episode, if you saw the last episode, I side dressed them with some compost, so hopefully that's going to help them a little bit. You can see, again, this bed was unfrozen a lot earlier than that one was, which is probably why it's doing so much better, but these should all catch up pretty quick. As you can see, the peas still have not come up. We're sitting at about 2 weeks, so I'm getting a little bit concerned about that. I did plant them in the bed when the ground was still a little bit frozen, though. I mean, I've seen peas come back after being out all winter, so I wasn't that concerned about it, but I am getting a little concerned now. I've got a feeling I'm going to plant the second row today or tomorrow, and hopefully I'll get them both out. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, we can't go back, so we can only go forward. So this is the bed that I'm going to plant the carrots in today. You can see I've got a little bit of green popping up from some of the weeds that I did not catch, which is one of the reasons I kind of left it for a couple of days, just to see what was still in here. So I'm going to clean that up, plant the carrots, and we'll go from there. The garlic is looking really, really good. Have not seen any sign of the carrots that I left in here. That guy's a little stuck. There you go. Just give him a little helping hand. Although, like I said, I've got a little bit of a fern that keeps coming back in here. I got to do a big weed in here as well. So that's on the menu for this weekend. I'd never got around to side dressing. You can see here's that fern here. So I've got to be careful when I'm poking around over here. I don't want to pull out a carrot. It was in this area here that I left all those carrots. But anyways, I got to do the side dressing in here. I did not get to that one last week like I had hoped. Now here's where last episode we planted the second set of peas. Now I'm not expecting them to be up yet. It's only been about a week, not even a week. But off camera I built this trellis. The one that I pulled out of where the carrots were going, that one was kind of falling apart. I got a little bit of work to do on it, so I took some leftover bamboo poles just from the dollar store and sort of built my own little trellis on it. I was actually quite happy with it. I kind of wish I had done it on camera. It is fairly sturdy. So I'm hoping this will work for this season, and then if I get a little bit of chance, maybe in the fall, I'll put together another proper trellis for next year. This is the leftover onions I had when I was planting them last year. I've also got some leeks in here as well. It's on my list of things to do. I just hope that I get to it as well. One other thing I've noticed is my plastic on my greenhouse has come off on the back. This spot right here has always been a problem spot. You can see it's kind of ripped in the corner. When I put it up, it wasn't quite, I guess, plumb. So that's something I'm going to have to fix up. I don't know if I'm going to replace the whole sheet or just try to shift it over one more time. But something we got to work on, something we got to figure out. Now, if you watched last episode, the apple trees were only just starting to leaf out. So they've progressed along fairly good. I gotta say I'm jealous. I see a lot of people posting stuff on the internet, and their trees are like already blossoming, and I'm like weeks away from even seeing a blossom, I think. But it is what it is. It's the part of the adventure of gardening in the north. So fingers crossed, they'll blossom early enough that we'll get a crop this year. Elderberry bush or tree, again, I don't know what it is. It's something my wife picked out. It is doing pretty good, I think. It's not growing as much as I had kind of thought it would, but we'll see how it goes. Now, again, if you watched last episode, this is where Creative Kitty planted her catnip. I'll be honest with you, I've got mixed feelings about it, but if it grows and she enjoys it, that's the most important thing. Still no sign of any growth yet, but again, it's been less than a week, and I think those ones were about a 2-week germination period. So the honeyberry is actually looking really, really good. I've got a couple of flowers on there. I'm hoping that they're in focus. I've noticed that it doesn't really focus where I want to. I'm just kind of using a little GoPro to, to capture this. It's not really the best of cameras, but certainly let the car go by. It's certainly good for what I want to do with it. Oh, there's a nice little bush at the back. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a little bit. I might have to do a little bit of research. Maybe I should be pulling these off this year and letting it kind of grow a little bit bigger. This is the other honeyberry. It is not doing quite as well, but it is certainly coming back, so that gives me some hope. Now, I seem to recall the reason we got 2 different varieties was that they needed to cross-pollinate, but we'll have to see. We'll see how it goes. Again, I wasn't expecting anything from them this year. I was expecting this to be mainly a growing year because we only put them in last year, so we'll see how it goes. Now, this is the crabapple tree, definitely looking like it's doing a lot better than the regular apple tree. This one's been established for years. It was we got it with the house when we bought. Last year we had almost a bumper harvest. It seems to go 1 year on, 1 year off, so we'll see what we kind of get this year. Last year we got an absolute ton of crab apples, but we'll kind of see how. We'll just see how it goes. Okay, so that's it for the garden poke, and whoops. Okay, so that's it for the garden poke. Let's get at it. So I know I've featured a lot of garden friends. I've got a feeling this is one of my garden enemies. Not 100% sure what it is. I've seen similar ones that I've associated with cutworms, but not too sure. So I'm gonna go move this guy someplace else. If he was, like, he's almost a centipede, but not. So I'm going to go move him until I know exactly what he is. Let me know if you know what this guy is. Let me know if he's beneficial or not. I'm actually going to go take care of him, and we'll keep at it. All right. Okay guys, so we are back. If you're wondering why I did such a big water before I even planted any seeds, basically carrot seeds are so small and so thin, and you plant them so shallowly that any sort of big rain or heavy watering can just wash them right out of place, and you end up with all your carrots sort of pooled in one spot, along the garden or up in the corners or somewhere you don't even expect them. So basically, because I can't do a heavy water for probably about 1, maybe 2 weeks, I give it a really good soaking right now. I'll plant the seeds on top. I'll throw a little bit of a cover over them. They really just need like a fine dusting. I'll mist it just to kind of get that a little bit wet, and then I'm going to cover it over with a little bit of plywood just to help keep that moisture in. Now, one of the other things I did to kind of help is, if you saw my Wednesday quick episode, basically I took a lot of those seeds, I put them in some wet paper towel, let them soak for about 3 days, just so they get a good sort of bonus soak. You're not supposed to throw them into like a little thing of water, but I've had really good luck germinating seeds in paper towel. It kind of keeps the moisture even, but it doesn't, it doesn't drown them. I've done this very successfully with like peppers and tomatoes. I have done it before with carrots. It has worked. So we'll see if we can get it to work this time. The key with the carrots, I think, is to get them into the ground before they actually germinate. All we're doing is giving them a little bit of a water boost, hopefully to make it work a little bit better. So first off, I'm going to press in a couple of rows just so I kind of know where I am going, and it makes it easier to kind of spot where I've already planted seeds, and we'll go from there. All right, thanks guys. Okay guys, so that is it for the carrot. So I've kind of just covered them over just to keep the heat of the day. It's supposed to get up to like 27 today, I think. So I don't want them drying out any more than they have to. I'll come back in the evening, mist them again. These were, I don't think I could have picked a better time to put those seeds in because they were just starting to germinate. I kind of thought that would be like a day or two before that happened, which is sort of what I was aiming for. But I'll post a little picture of them that might show it a little bit better. But you can see they're just starting to form a couple of roots. I know I broke one or two when I was transplanting them, but I think most of them I was pretty good on. So I am quite happy. I've got really, really high expectations for this batch of carrots, at least as far as germination goes. I'm hoping we'll see sprouts before the next video. Well, next weekend. I've probably got a little bit more to showcase this weekend, but for now, I'll see you guys in a bit. Hey guys, so it is May the 13th. Yesterday we planted those carrots. Hopefully we'll see some signs of growth in the next few days. Plan for today is to take this bed. I got to get the straw out of it. There's cardboard and newspaper underneath. I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to put a lot of compost on top, like a good inch or two. I'm going to plant potatoes in that and then cover them over with some straw. I will need to get some more straw to complete that a little bit later on. But the straw I got right now should be enough just to get me an initial covering, and then I can add the rest later. Alright, so let's get to it. So that is it for these potatoes. I've got another bed I'm going to place down there. But as you saw, I had the paper and cardboard down from the fall when I just sort of used it as a cover. Got rid of the last couple of weeds that were kind of just poking their heads out there. I also wetted it down just so the ground underneath was a little bit wet. Dug some holes in there, put the potatoes in, covered them with a good layer of compost, and then covered that with straw. As the potatoes grow up through the straw, I'll be adding more straw. I'll probably add about this much, if you can see that, but it is going to compact down over time as well. So it's sort of a losing battle. The idea behind it is the potatoes gets the nutrients from the compost, but then the shoots that come out and sort of down with the new potatoes all end up in the straw. It makes them a lot easier to clean. Easier to dig as well. I don't have to go rooting through the dirt looking for them. Plus the straw, and that helps keep the weeds at bay. So I've done it this way before. It's been fairly successful. So I've got some pretty good confidence this year. My only regret is I didn't chip my potatoes as early as I normally do. But again, we had sort of a late start, and it wasn't the foremost on my mind. But before I call it a weekend, just wanted to show, let's see if I can get this in here. that would be the very, very first pea sprout of the year. I think there's another one there. This one's kind of been pushed up. Sometimes the roots will push it up from below, so I'm not really worried about that. Now this over here is a weed, and I can tell because for one, it doesn't look anything like those guys. You can actually see the leaves on those ones. This one here does not have that, so that is a weed. So the last thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to add that second row of peas in here. So I've got a good crop. I think I'll have enough time to do maybe one more row before it gets too warm for these peas. So let's get at it. So that's going to be it for this weekend, guys. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Also, if you got any questions about what I've done or what you've seen in my garden, please feel free to leave a comment below. Or you can tweet me on Twitter at JackelWolf. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!